Hello everyone. This video is going to be a follow-up slash sequel to the one I just did on Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions, where basically I just kind of yapped and played a game at the same time, and basically just kind of shared my open thoughts about the open beta of Starseeker. It's a little different this time. First off, you're watching pre-recorded Steam Deck footage, and I'm just going to be talking over it in post. I did just mention that it is Steam Deck footage. Sorry, I don't have a better way to currently capture Rogue Core, and Crossover on Mac currently has a bug where, or like a bug with this game where the game will just randomly freeze. Like I couldn't even really play it, unfortunately, that way, which is how I captured footage for Astroneer last time, in case you were curious. But yeah, sorry, Steam Deck footage. It's what best I got. Unless there's a Ghost Ship employee here, in which case, hey, maybe this is helpful for you. You get to see what the game runs, looks, plays like, controls like on Steam Deck. So, but yeah. Anyway, and hopefully in the future I can like afford some kind of better recording solution. Hopefully maybe like when the Steam machine comes out or something, or if I just get a better like gaming PC or whatnot. But moving on from that, I guess a couple other disclaimers before we truly begin. You're watching closed alpha footage, so everything you see here could still change. By the time this video is uploaded, I think it's going to be like 2 days till the game's release. So truth being told, not much of this is really going to change. But the Ghost Ship has been updating the game a lot lately with like a ton of bug fixes and some like quality of life things. So it could happen. Anything I talk about here might actually change when the game comes out or even before then. So I know there's not like a ton of time still, but yeah. And the final thing is that I'm going to be talking kind of fast in this video. I'm going to assume that you basically know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, there is a really, really good video by Jonto Hill, which is a beginner's guide to Rogue Core. If you like, if I mention anything in this video, you're like, what is that? It's probably covered in that video. And also it's just a super great like guide for new players. Yeah. Shout outs to Jonto. That was a very, very well made video. I really, really enjoyed that one. Anyway, let us begin. And I will begin by saying happy 1 year anniversary to Rogue Core. Now, I'm sure you're looking at me confused, going, Turnip, this game hasn't even come out yet. You would be correct. It's been 1 year anniversary for the closed alpha. So, yeah, the closed alpha came out last year in May, and it's currently May of this year. So it's been 1 year since the closed alpha released, and I actually got access to it during the first wave in May of last year. So, like the first wave of invites, I mean. Although I was actually invited directly by a developer, I think for participating in like the experimental branch or something. I don't remember the exact reason, but either way, shout outs to, I want to say Mark is who invited me. I'm really sorry if I'm getting that wrong. But yeah, thanks, thanks Ghost Ship. It's been awesome to play the closed alpha, and I've been gathering my thoughts for a video such as this. And yeah, I've managed to sink 300 hours into the playtest already, which is crazy. I kind of can't believe looking at that number. Like, it doesn't feel right, especially knowing that Deep Rock Galactic, like my hours in Deep Rock Galactic is like 1,000. So the fact that this is literally a third of that, and it's for a closed playtest, is kind of mind-boggling to me. But yeah, I think let's just go ahead and get into it now. I'm going to talk about what I like, what I don't like, and some things I'd like to see changed and whatnot. So let's just start with like the stuff I really like about Rogue Core and my time with the closed alpha. First things first, I gotta say, the gunplay is just as good, if not better, than Deep Rock Galactic, and it needs some work, but in some area, like the variety areas, which this is going to be a theme that comes up in this video, is that variety is kind of lacking, which is something I'll kind of mention later, because whatever, keep that in the back of your mind. But the guns are satisfying with a couple exceptions. Like, for instance, I think the Cadna shield projector is kind of I want to love it so much, dude. It's got like this insanely cool reload animation, like an insanely cool, like shooting it, like it makes these cool sounds. It goes pa-chow, pa-chow. Like it looks in like from an animation feel and everything else, it looks and feels amazing. And then here come these tiny little shield projectiles that are so unbelievably slow. Oh my gosh, dude, it's a weapon I want to like so much more than I actually do. I think, I don't know what I'd change about it other than please make the shield projectiles faster. And I get the whole point of it is it's supposed to be like, yeah, you shoot these like little shield projectiles and you can use them to block like damage or whatever, or like projectiles. Okay, first off, I've got a big issue with that, and the fact it's as simple as saying it literally counters two bosses. Like the Guturak and the Malatuka, or however you say that, Malatukula? I don't know. But those two like gatekeepers get basically completely shut down by this weapon. It's stupid. They basically can't do anything against you, and which I think is not balanced at all. And also, even outside of those bosses, like the only other two enemies that you even use that shielding aspect against is currently Edge Stalkers, Fulgore Vomiters, and Scorchers. So I guess 3 enemies still, but like it's so situational, man. I know there's been a lot of people on Discord saying like, oh, it's so good though. It's like, it's kind of, it's a little too situational for my liking. So that's one of the guns I'm going to say, like one of the new guns anyway, I'm going to say that I really hope kind of gets some kind of tweaks to make it feel better to shoot. Not in the animation department, not in the sound department. It's absolutely perfect in those regards. I love the way the gun model looks. It's so cool. But the physical act of like shooting the weapon and then seeing these tiny little projectile shields come out that are so slow and then like Corpspawn just dance right around them sucks. Also, and this one's more like personal preference for me. I mean, obviously the whole thing is, but like any gun that I can't hit weak points with, I think makes me die a little inside. That sounds terrible to say, but yeah, man, I want to like this gun so much. But anyway, sorry, a little side tangent there, but yes, the Cadna is a gun that I love the design of. I wish it was a little more fun to shoot for me. Although I guess that kind of makes me move on. Like all the new weapons outside of the Cadna for what I just mentioned, and I guess the Devastator, but I kind of like the Devastator pistol. It's just it has ammo issues, which probably will get changed at some point. But anyway, my point to saying all this is all the new weapons are really good. Like they're all satisfying to shoot, and even like I know I've been harping on the Cadna, but like the Cadna also is good. I just don't like to shoot it. So enough about the Cadna. The new weapons are great, like the P90, or I guess it's called the, it used to be called like the mac and cheese gun. It's not his actual name, but like the little SMG that's like orange and shoots really fast and has a really big spread. I like that one. I like the new assault rifle type weapon I'm forgetting the name of. Maybe that is called the P90. I don't remember. The Charge Blaster is, oh, I love the Charge Blaster. That one's awesome. And in general, I think that the game has a pretty good starting selection of guns, equipment, and like grenades and stuff. I think they've done they as in Ghost Ship, I think Ghost Ship has done a very good job of well rounding out the roster. There aren't any truly like terrible weapons. Well, there's the burst, or I guess I like to call them the Burt. You know, Gunner's like secondary, and Deep Rock Galactic, the burst pistol one. That one could be a little stronger in my opinion. It's kind of this is kind of something that I feel like is kind of hard to put into words. But in Rogue Core, since you can take either just one weapon or 2 weapons at the same time, some weapons are better suited for being what I like to call sidekick guns. And I think the best example I can think of is, I want to say the Cadna so bad, even though that is a good example, but I'm going to use the boomstick as an example because I'm tired of talking about the Cadna. But the boomstick, right? It's like and it's really easy to explain that one because it's like, well, Scout has that as a literal sidekick gun, his secondary weapon in Deep Rock Galactic. It's a burst weapon, you know. Something big and scary gets in your face, you whip out the shotgun and just blast it in the face and then put it away and let Born Ready do the rest, which is, you know, very satisfying in that game. And yeah, some guns like the boomstick work a lot better in this game as sidekick weapons. And for the boomstick specifically, it's the combination of two factors. It's the fact that why I consider it to be more of a sidekick gun, for reference. For the boomstick, it's the fact that it is a bursty weapon by design, since that's how it originally was in Deep Rock Galactic, and also the fact that its damage output kind of sucks. Again, sustained damage output, which I guess is what I said in the first point, but it's not really the kind of gun that's meant to like deal with big crowds. It's more like you whip it out to deal with the bruiser that's in your face, and there's nothing wrong with that. Although and this is something I'm going to talk about later probably, but like the boomstick and the warthog as well, because I'm going to lump it into this proposed change I have. It feels really weird, these two shotguns in particular, because in Deep Rock Galactic I can basically go up to a grunt, especially with the warthog, and like shoot mostly all my pellets into its weak point. Like I don't have to be perfect, but like most of the pellets, and it one-shots it, right? You know, grunt popping weak points, or like break points, I guess. I don't really know what the community actually dubs that, but yeah. Anyway, point is, you know, it's consistent. It feels good in that game, and especially like, you know, you get like those rate of fire upgrades on the warthog, and then you like you can pop grunt heads one after the other. It's kind of its own fun little cathartic thing. And the boomstick in Deep Rock Galactic as well is like this big, powerful shotgun. Like you point it at some enemies and they just fall over. They basically explode. Like you point that thing at a group of grunts and you have blow through rounds, that group of grunts is dead. And obviously it gets even more crazy if you have like overclocks like double barrel and whatnot. But my point to saying all this is that in Rogue Core, I feel like both these weapons are kind of undertuned right now. I don't know if it's because the core spawn, like I want to say the creepers, it might be the crawlers, I don't remember. It's the basic grunt in this game. I think it's the creepers. I'm gonna say creepers. Hopefully that's right. But the basic, like the grunts of this game of Rogue Core, I feel like they maybe either have more health than normal, like the normal grunts in Deep Rock Galactic, or something else, because the warthog and the boomstick both just feel really bad against them. I don't know why, and it's not like super bad, but it's like they don't feel super bad. But I can like shove the warthog like and basically hit almost every single pellet into a creeper's like head weak point, and it just won't even die. And then, especially on the warthog, it's like I'm waiting for the world's slowest rate of fire thing to like finally let me shoot the gun again. Yeah, it's the little balancing things like that I hope kind of get ironed out. If any Ghost Ship devs are watching this, please buff the warthog's base rate of fire. It feels pretty clunky. I don't like that weapon as much. And then for the boomstick as well, maybe this one's more just because of like the massive spread or something, but again, it's just like I played around in Deep Rock Galactic recently, and it took the boomstick and it was like special powder boomstick. It wasn't even anything that crazy, and it was just you point it at a group of grunts and they explode. And then you take the same weapon in Rogue Core and it's like you point it at a group of core spawn and nothing dies. And that feels kind of bad. Especially for the boomstick, because the boomstick's whole shtick is that it's literally supposed to be this big, powerful shotgun in bursts, but whatnot. I kind of hope those two get some love. And the burst I talked about earlier, the M1000 kind of suffers from body shot damage problems, so I do think the creepers must have more health in this game than DRG grunts, because there's no way like friggin' like, because like especially in I know this is with an upgraded M1000 versus a completely unupgraded weapon, but like especially in Deep Rock Galactic, right? You have the M1000 and you take like I think it's 13212 maybe. It's been a while. I don't remember the exact build. And it's like any clean, like let's say hover clock, okay? So like basically no overclock, right? You can 2-tap most grunts in the like body. Here in Rogue Core, it's not even a 2-tap. It's not even like a 4-tap. It's like 5 or something. It's crazy. But then you hit them in the weak point and suddenly they fall over. I don't know. M1000 needs more body shot damage or something because it is so inconsistent. I don't understand what's going on with that gun. And also, the auto aim upgrade for that weapon is garbage. I'm sorry. I want to like it more than I do, but it fights my crosshair too much to the point where I just don't like it. And it also feels really weirdly inconsistent. I don't understand what's going on with that upgrade. So, I don't know. Ghost Ship, you want to take a look at that one? That's really strange. My point to bringing up all these weapons and whatnot is to just say that for the most part, I think most of the DRG weapons and just all the guns in general have translated really well over to this game, but there's a couple that I think really do need some tweaking and bringing up to base. Like, I didn't even mention the autocannon. I think the autocannon just straight up sucks. Which is not a surprise because the autocannon in DRG sucks. Both versions of this weapon need buffs, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I think that's all I really want to say about the weapons here for the most part. I really like where most of them are at, and I think that workbenches do a lot to really help make a lot of these guns. First off, it makes these guns feel different run to run, and it actually does matter a lot. Like the M1000, for instance, if you can get some weak point upgrades, it goes from kind of a garbage weapon to, if you're a sharpshooter, you just clean, I was gonna say destroy, but like you clean up groups, especially with the right upgrades. And like, let's say you get some ricochet going and whatnot there, and like, don't even get me started on the elemental effects and how they play together. I just played Far Far West literally right before this video, or like this recording, I mean. And you know, like, that game has really cool elemental like combinations, and a similar thing is going on here. It's really funny how two completely different dev teams kind of had the same idea and kind of did the same thing without like actually doing the same thing. Granted, I think Far Far West's is more pronounced because it's a bigger, you know, it's a bigger focus of that gameplay, is all the elemental effects and how they combine. But yeah. Also, by the way, go play Far Far West. That game is absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna keep the glazing of it here to a minimum because this is supposed to be a video about Rogue Core, but oh my gosh, dude, I've already sunk 20 hours into it, and I got it like 2 days ago. It's so good. And it will be influencing this video, unfortunately, even though I don't want it to. Let's get back to Rogue Core, though. So that's all I have to really say about the weapons. Let's talk about the Reclaimers. I think there's a couple changes I'd like to see being made, but honestly, I actually really like the spot that most Reclaimers are in. Like, any changes I'm asking for here are pretty minimal, except for one Reclaimer. We'll talk about her at the end of this little section, but let's just talk about, you know what, let's glaze Slicer. Let's just glaze Slicer real quick. I love Slicer. Oh my gosh, is he so much fun. You get a big energy sword, you slice through things, it does like 1 trillion damage. You can like trimp off the ceiling. It's so awesome. He's such a well-designed class, and it's, or I guess class, Reclaimer, they mean the same thing, whatever. He's got really good perks. None of his perks feel awkward to use. I mean, Shield Belt's kind of situational, but it's not like bad. I think it's fine, and I think for how good he is with both his slice ability and also his like blitz is what it's called, like the little midair dash. I think having Shield Belt as a kind of whatever option is totally fine on him. Like, he feels great. I really like him. And his bio booster deck as well is just insane. I don't think you really can't go wrong in that class. There's so many ways to build him out. Like, you can spec into melee or you don't have to. He's got really good workbench upgrades. Like, he's the poster boy of Rogue Core. There's no doubt about it. I think everyone's going to want to play him. He is so much fun. He synergizes so well with himself, like in melee upgrades and teammates and whatnot. He, in my opinion, is the example that the other reclaimers should really follow. Let's talk about Guardian now. Guardian is a class that I actually mained a little bit in the earlier days of the beta, but I have kind of fallen out of grace with him, and there's two main reasons why. The fact that his Concussive Blast and his Force Field Projector, or whatever it's called, the big fear AoE thing, share a cooldown is it is something that I really want to like. Like, I really want to like. It just doesn't work for me. I continue to make, like, I'll like use the Force Shield Projector, and then like I go to do a Concussive Blast, and then like, oops, I accidentally used up all my charges, or vice versa, where like I intentionally use a Concussive Blast, and then I just don't have Force Field, whatever. And I don't think it'd be as big of an issue as if it wasn't for the fact that the Force Projector is just straight up almost always better than the simple Stun Glove, like Concussive Blast, which sucks. Having to choose between the two when one is better than the other kind of defeats the point of having the stun power, which sucks because the stun power is really good. Like, there are legitimate reasons to use it. It's super great for stopping enemies in their tracks, especially like edge stalkers, so you can line up, hit like shots on their weak point and kill them easier. Like, it's super versatile, except it's not, because it's being tied up with a literal get off me button. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I want to like it more than I do. I just think if they were different cooldowns, it wouldn't feel nearly as clunky as it currently does to me. Also, the armor beacon is just kind of, I kind of don't like it. I think it is the biggest thing that is keeping me from really enjoying this class. I kind of wish it worked more like Brigitte, like shield throw in Overwatch, which, fair warning, I basically have not played Overwatch at all, but I've just like watched some, and who knows, maybe this isn't even how that character's shield thing works anymore, but it used to be like you basically threw an armor pack onto a teammate and it automatically applied or whatever. I wish it worked more like that instead, where it was just like a quick little, you could throw out armor and it wasn't instead this like weird bubble on the ground that you had to sit inside. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel as good as I think it should, which sucks because I really want to like Guardian. He has one of the coolest designs, like, and he basically has like the same pitch level to me, or like to my ears, as Gunner. I think it's like a slight bit different, but like Gunner from Deep Rock Galactic, and Gunner was one of my big mains in DRG. Like, I love Gunner. So I'm not going to call him Gunner 2.0 because he absolutely is not, but like, well, I mean, he does have the fear shield, but no, he's not Gunner 2.0. At least I don't think so. His bio boosters are okay. I think there's a couple stinkers in his decks, but I honestly don't remember what's in them, and I'm not going to look them up for this video, so yep, moving right on. Sorry, moving on. Who do I want to talk about next? Let's talk about Falconer. Falconer currently tops all damage charts. Like, in every single game I've played, Falconer has always had the highest damage. I'm not sure whether or not I would consider that a bad thing, because to me, that screams the NG effect, where NG's turrets in normal DRG get him so many extra kills and so much extra damage. And on top of the fact that NG and DRG also just is a super potent powerhouse of damage. He's kind of insane, if I'm being honest. He has so many good builds. But DRG NG is almost always topping the damage like charts, so that doesn't really surprise me to see that kind of happen again here with yet another like automated turret sort of deal. Um, the drone itself is pretty good. I mean, obviously, if it's helping, Falconer reach top damage every time or every like run, in all the lobbies I've played. There's a couple things about it I find a little strange. When you go to like point it somewhere for it to like quote unquote patrol, it doesn't really. Um, it kind of doesn't really do a good job patrolling. Like I think it says like probing or something, but it doesn't. I don't know. It just kind of hovers in a single spot and then it waits for core spawn to enter its radius. I kind of wish instead it would more like you point it to go somewhere and then it would like idly kind of fly around a little, just like kind of look for targets. And then if it doesn't find anything, just come back to you after like a couple seconds, which is what it does right now. But you point it, so currently you point it somewhere and it just kind of sits there. And it just kind of sits there. It doesn't feel as like, I don't know. I kind of would like it more if like you pointed it somewhere and then it would just like it would like fly around a little. I also would think it'd be really cool if you could point it at a teammate and it would like hover around them until you recalled it or ran out of charges. Kind of like to give them like a little damage shield of sorts, or like fly around them, sort of like kind of like a guard mode, almost like how Bosco. Yes, Bosco has. I was thinking of Cooper for a second, but Bosco has the ability to like fly around a target, or like not a target, but like Doretta, right? Like the drill dozer. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting names here, but yeah, the like Bosco has a guard mode, especially for like Dottie and like Haxie, I think also, and some other stuff, kind of like that. But for the Falcon drone, I think would be cool. It'd be an interesting way to build out the drone. And also it would add a co-op element because you can literally command the drone to be like, defend my teammate, and it would do it. Wow. So yeah, Falconer is really cool. Again, I don't know. If they do decide to nerf the bird, don't nerf it super much, because in my opinion, I really like it. I think it's a okay damage source. I don't know. I think the big damage numbers really come from the fact that missions are a lot longer than anything of like the drone is OP, if that makes any sense, right? Because in Deep Rock, NG's turrets, like, you only stay in a mission for like, I guess 30 minutes max, usually, unless it's like a particularly long one. Again, give or take. So there's not as much time, but like spent in the mission. But in Rogue Core, runs are, a lot longer, or potentially a lot longer, and the drone has way more opportunities to actually deal damage and whatnot, and it does it more so in like bursts and stuff, and it's getting electrical DOTs and whatnot. So in my opinion, I think the bird's in a fine spot. I actually think Falconer is probably the best class right now. Again, I don't know if that should be tweaked or not, but it's just a observation I've had. I feel like I win the most games when I play Falconer. And remember to use my remote revive, which is a pretty good ability. I like it. It's good. Thunder Rod is the only ability I kind of don't like in her kit, but it's not even that I don't like the ability. I think it's a perfectly fine ability, giving a plus AoE electric, or like a, well, I mean, the field that you stand in is an area of effect field, but what I mean more so is like if you stand in the field, you get an electric, like, damaging effect. My only complaint with it is visibility, because it creates this gigantic bubble, and I wish it was more like a ring on the floor that you could noticeably stand in. And they have rings on like some of the other stuff, like the Vault Hack Expedite event is just a literal ring on the ground for like the vaults. So I feel like they could do that with Falconer. I don't know. Visibility would be nice, and if they're going to keep Armor Beacon the same, by the way, I want a similar thing for that one as well, where it's just a ring on the ground instead of being like a pseudo gunner shield, but it's not, which I feel like is probably just a placeholder. Other than that, though, I really like Falconer. So, and look, she just straight up has the best bio booster decks in the game. It's not even funny. Like, Storm is honestly kind of insane, and then like her other one, which I think is like Adapt or something. No, it's not Adapt. It's it's not combat prowess. I don't remember what her other deck is called, but it's the one that has accelerate in it, which accelerate is kind of busted. I'm not going to talk about bio boosters a ton in this video because I feel like they're going to change quite a bit as we move forward into early access, but accelerate, I kind of wish it was I wish it had like a cooldown per se, or it was based on the damage you deal. In fact, I kind of wish it was based on the damage you deal instead, because otherwise you are always incentivized to take like the fast firing weapons with it, and that kind of sucks. So I don't know. Next up on the chopping block is Spotter. Spotter's really good. Like, well, as in really good and fun for me to play, so I call him good. I don't think he's actually that like balance say good. I think he's fun good because I like dopamine and slot machine numbers, and listening to all the crit sounds makes my head go burr, you know? The game feel is there. Except for one thing, and this is also a balance thing. I really wish that when you shot a enemy with the crit dart, it would actually penetrate that enemy and also create an AoE around them, or instead drag the AoE with that enemy, because it's kind of more of a quality of life thing than anything. But it just makes it easier to actually track groups of enemies, because like otherwise you're just spamming the spotter dart button. And speaking of which, this is maybe something to be said about other classes as well, but I especially feel this on Spotter, where pulling out his like spotting dart gauntlet, there is a noticeable delay before you can shoot. Like I've gone to literally like quickly try and crit something before I start laying into it, and I always screw up the timing. I don't know if it's a lag thing just because I'm playing on a Steam Deck or whatnot, but I don't know. I wish like as soon as you like held down RB, like right bumper, to bring out the gauntlet and it started coming out, you could shoot it right away. I don't know. But yeah, the big change I want to see with Spotter is to just make it so that when you shoot an enemy with a crit dart, the crit like gets embedded in that enemy, and it still does the AoE effect. Or just do like a more powerful, either that or make it like a more powerful crit on the enemy, but I would like to see the AoE change more personally. I do believe that Spotter is still the weakest Reclaimer. I know I kind of started saying, like this section was saying, oh my gosh, Spotter's so good. That's more so just because I like playing him. I don't think he's actually the best, unfortunately. But yeah, and the main reason for that is just that unlike the other Reclaimers, he kind of lacks survivability options. I still think that he is fine in that regard, especially because he brings crits to the table, and crits are super good. So I think it's a worthy trade-off. And to be fair, this might just be me saying that he is the most high skill ceiling of all the Reclaimers, because if you're an absolute sharpshooter with him, he is disgusting and nothing will ever touch you. So yeah, but like Slicer, Slicer obviously has the big giant sword. Guardian has the gauntlets, like the concussive blast and the fear AoE. Like Guardian's well able to defend himself. Falconer's got the drone and the thunder rod. It also can help keep herself safe. Retcon is Retcon, and we'll talk about Retcon in a second. But for Spotter, he just has the darts, and that is his only line of gauntlet self-defense. And obviously his pickaxe power attack, but that every Reclaimer has that. So he's the worst at keeping himself safe, is what I'm trying to say. Which I think, as long as they balance around that correctly, I think that's a good way to balance him. But it also can kind of suck if like a bunch of enemies show up and none of your guns are reloaded and you don't have any gauntlet abilities to really dispatch the freaking Clamorhead that's slowly trucking towards you, and there's nothing you can do about it, Anyway, yeah, he's pretty good. Like, see, I keep saying that because I keep saying he's pretty good because in my head I'm like, slot machine numbers. I like seeing blue critical numbers. Ooh, and it's like, ah. But deep down, I know he's not actually that good, It's like I could do more if I played Falconer or something. Whatever. Lastly is Retcon. I want to like Retcon so bad. It's actually crazy. Like And this is I alluded to this earlier in the recording. This is who I'm talking about as far as like the reclaimer that, in my opinion, probably needs the most fundamental like help. Retcon is a character. A character? Yeah, she's a character, all right. She is the reclaimer I probably enjoy the least, and there's two reasons why. The first one is that she, and I've talked about this before in the feedback threads for Retcon, like in the closed alpha playtest channels and the Discord server, but she is too centralized on rewind. And it's really telling when I'm watching like the dev trailer for the closed, or like the early access launch trailer, and you like see the retcon section, and they basically were like, "Hey, you could use this," and like in the trailer they use it to like run away from a group of enemies and then like appear behind you, like, or appear behind the group of enemies and then take them all out. And wow, that's so cool and all. That's literally not how she's played at all. Unless, like, and I really do mean unless you have massive amounts of cooldown reduction. More on that in a second. But what rewind is currently used for is you pop it before a big fight or before running in a room. You basically go absolutely crazy. You literally like just throw all your grenades. You go absolutely insane. You try and do as much damage as you possibly can, and then rewind. And then you go on a 70-second cooldown for that rewind. Okay, cool. So you just used rewind, right? Let's assume that you also, like, you intentionally took damage to fuel her second ability, which is rage. Okay, so you fueled up your rage, got it, nice. You use your rage because, you know, now's the time to use it. It's all good to go, and you don't have your other ability to charge it up anymore. So great, you use rage, you kill everything, awesome, great, and now you have no abilities to use. As in, like, nothing. You can't even, like, whatever. It's there is a fundamental problem with the way that rewind is currently set up, because the problem with rewind is that it is this big, really strong and bursty gauntlet ability, which I think is fine. But then it's not complemented by any sort of littler thing. This is such a weird way to put it. But like, let me explain it this way. Guardian has pretty relatively quick cooldowns for his abilities. Same with Slicer. Same with Falconer even. Falconer gets her drone back pretty quickly, even without any cooldown reduction. At least like a couple charges to at least make some use of it. And Spotter's darts come back quickly. Spotter has his radar passive, which I didn't even really mention that, but it's something. I use it to really find like leeches and determine where enemies are coming from if I can't see them. I think it's okay. It's a cool ability. But like, yeah, Spotter has like his radar to rely on or something. Retcon has literally nothing. As soon as you blow through all your abilities, you are a sitting duck. Now then, I think that this is also part of the design of Retcon, because she's meant to basically be this, you know, pop your ability, go crazy for a couple seconds, and then retreat kind of tactily, you know, like sit in the back of the lines, or like run around the enemies and like try not to engage. I don't know if it's just me, but I find that playstyle to be kind of eh. And truth being told, it's really weird, because you would think like, okay, well, you know, what if you just get back your cooldowns faster, you know, like go get the cooldown upgrades or whatever. Great, okay, let's run accelerate so that I basically have infinite cooldowns. That in itself becomes a problem, because then suddenly you basically have God mode for the rest of the run. There is no more punishment. Every single semblance of challenge that was just there with managing your ability and doing whatever gets completely thrown out the window, because now you have a completely spammable like recall, and it really doesn't take this much cooldown to get to to the state I'm talking about. Like if you take like 2 of the standing still and like recharging your upgrades, or literally just take accelerate, assuming you've promoted Retcon at that point, then all semblance of balance gets completely thrown out the window, because at this point, now you can just recall whenever the heck you feel like it. Someone like accidentally tickle your armor, uh-oh, better recall. Like, it's not as big of an issue as I'm probably making it out to be, but it's still enough to where it is noticeable. Like, and it kind of ruins the runs for me, because to me, it's a feast or famine issue with retcon. You're either feasting to the point where, with like so much ability cooldown reduction, that you're like, okay, well now I'm just not even really having fun, because nothing actually matters. No battle I get into will ever deal enough damage to actually kill me, unless it's, you know, a boss attack and it catches you by surprise, and then it's like, oh crap, oh no, and then I go resupply and I grab red sugar, and then suddenly I'm fine. I can go back to spamming. So anyway, or I get contingency plan. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to talk about these other two abilities first. Yeah, or like I said, it's feast or famine, right? Or you're famining and it's like, great, here come a bunch of bruisers, they're up in my face, I have nothing to deal with the situation. It's stupid. Admittedly, I'm actually more okay with the famine than I am with the feast, because I think that, you know, in those situations with whatever, then at least there, like, or like if there's like a bunch of, like, I start getting absolutely ganged on and losing all my health and armor without my like ability being ready, it's like, at least there I can go, okay, well there at least I can say that I didn't plan out my ability accordingly, and if I'm getting beaten up, well, I'm charging up rage, so that at least something is happening, right? I am making at least some progress. But in the feast section, it's like, great, I just get to not like, I mean, I get to play the video game, but it's whatever. Also, I think, this is a bit more of a side tangent, but I think grenades getting refunded through time rewind is incredibly stupid. So, anyway, my whole point to mentioning all of this is to basically just say that I think there's too much emphasis being placed on what recall can currently do. Because what recall can currently do is, you save a spot in time, right? You'll return to it later when the timer ends, or if you manually cancel it. Any damage that is dealt to you is completely rewinded. Any ammo you spend is completely rewinded. Unless you literally go down in the ability, you will go back to whatever you had prior, when you either like cancel it or when the timer on it expires. Which basically means that you get to play like an absolute buffoon for like 10 seconds or however long rewind lasts by default. I think it might be like 12 or something. I don't know. I really, really want to like retcon, because it's, as a character design, so cool. What a cool, like, the design is sick. Like, the goggles are super cool. I love characters with goggles. And like her gauntlet as well is like so cool, and like I'm pretty sure that like it says Leet or something on it, or something, like there's some kind of like awesome reference on there. I forget, but it's some date I think. But I don't know, man. It's just she is currently not balanced at all. It's like she was balanced with a sledgehammer, and she is going to come out into early access like this. Also, she kind of needs friendly fire to really function as a class, because, or like no friendly fire, I mean, to function as a class, because otherwise you go and you basically just like you throw all your like cluster bombs or stickies into a group of bugs, you turn around and you just team killed your entire team. Like, and this has gone less bad with the friendly fire changes, but retcon, I want to love you, man, but oh my gosh, I feel like I'm probably not doing a very good job really explaining why I don't like this character, or not like why I don't. I mean, I like this character, but why I think that she's going to be problematic. So anyway, that's enough about retcon. Let's move on. Oh, I guess one last thing about her. Bio boosters are really good. They kind of fixed the one deck that was pretty crummy. I think she has pretty good bio boosters all around now. So, oh my gosh, I didn't even talk about contingency plan. I just thought about that. What a useless ability. It's not useless, but oh my gosh, it has no place in the game. I don't understand why it's here. I mean, it's not that it has no place, but it's kind of pointless. Like, it's either you win an entire mission without even using it once, or you use it and then you either clutch, which is great, But most of the time, if you get to the point where you use contingency plan and like whatever, unless the elevator is literally right about ready to go, or you have some kind of way to secure your victory, it's just prolonging the inevitable. I think it's a useless ability. I don't like its inclusion in the game. I kind of want it to be changed with something else. And what I think could happen is they could change this with something else and nerf recall a little bit to, and like give her a different button to press. So that way you kind of make it like a Guardian situation almost, where you have Concussive Blast and the Force Field for Guardian. Just, you know, again, make those two separate abilities on Retcon, where like, you know, she has a recall, but then maybe she has something else, and then recall maybe doesn't do everything it currently does. Make there maybe be some more risk involved, like maybe don't have it refund ammo and it's just health and armor or something like that, you know? Even that would probably be still pretty crazy. But yeah, she needs more depth in a way that isn't solely based off a recall. Now let's move off of her. I promise I'm actually done with her. This is the last time I'm gonna mention her. I promise. That is all my thoughts on the Reclaimers specifically, and I just realized that I have spent most of this video just talking about the Reclaimers. Oh god, it's going to be like over an hour at this point. Let's hurry on. Hurry up here a little. Let's move on to some other things I want to talk about. First off, the game setting. This is kind of a random thing for me to mention, but one of the big reasons why I'm so excited about this game is that it's literally Deep Rock Galactic, but it feels like it came out of a horror flick. Like a deep space horror flick, you know? I adore the setting, I adore the music, I adore where they're going with this, and I feel like as we get further along in early access, it's only gonna get better. Kind of in line with the setting stuff, one of my other critiques I'm gonna say right now is that the Reclaimers kind of have a voice line problem at the moment, and the devs have literally, like, I've seen oh, what's his name? Not Aaron, because he voices Omega, but Daniel, the audio designer, has literally said, like, yeah, we're trying to kind of nail the voice line direction and whatnot. The Reclaimers kind of have this weird middle ground right now, where like they are meant to come off as like these awesome badasses, like of like just like super, you know, super like elite group of like highly specialized dwarves, right? And then they have lines that don't really match that sometimes in missions, and this has gotten a lot better in recent patches, but it's still kind of some of that balance is still not totally there just yet. Also, I just want to mention that the female voice actor, yeah, I'm kind of hit or miss on her. I really like some of the lines, and then some of the lines are just not as good. I wish I had examples off the top of my head here, but I'm also trying to kind of keep the video going. I'm not going to go look up any right now, so just know that, put a footnote there that, yeah, there's some lines there that should probably be tweaked. Like, I don't know why, but her inflection sounds different during certain lines. I think it just has to do with when things were recorded and what direction that she was given. So otherwise, other than that, I actually really like the female VA. I think they did a really good job. Moving on from that though, or I guess not moving on, but moving back to what I was saying about like setting and whatnot, or, you know, like voice lines. Something I really wanted the Reclaimers to do more is show fear. And I think that would do so much for the game setting and like make it so much more believable. Like if the Reclaimers saw like a gatekeeper come out of the rift or whatever, they went like, what the hell is that thing? Or like, maybe not what the hell is that thing, or it's like, oh crap, here comes the Guturak, or okay, wow, that just sounds like a terrible voice line to implement, but I want them to like scream. I don't know how else to put this. I want the Reclaimers to just show fear in certain situations, or like have this air of uncertainty. Like they're as far as I'm aware, they're DRG's last line of defense, and they don't know what all's going on in these caves, and Omega doesn't know what's going on in these caves, and DRG doesn't know what's going on in these caves. There's these cosmic horrors that no one understands. The Reclaimers should reflect the environment that they are in, and for the most part they do, mostly, but again, it's like if imagine this, like, right, like the Reaper worms, if one of them grabs you and whatever, I kind of want the dwarfs, like, or the dwarves, I mean, they are dwarves, but the reclaimers to scream about it, like, oh my gosh, I'm being grabbed, help me, you know? Which would also just, that's also kind of a gameplay thing I'm going to talk about, like the Reaper worms. You get grabbed by one and your reclaimer is just mute while getting grabbed, while they're flailing their arms around and stuff. It doesn't match. I don't know how else to put that. I hope that's a placeholder and that's like not final. You know, I hope that they don't just stay mute when they get grabbed by Reaper worms for the rest of eternity, because same with like leeches. I think it'd be so, like, I just think it'd be a good way to build the world, the Deep Rock Galactic world, that is, like, a good sense of world building if the Reclaimers show some weakness in that regard. And maybe even Omega in that sense as well, right? Like, they are going up against impossible odds. They're going into missions that they very well know that they have a expectance to die in. They should act like it, like more so than they already currently do. And I also know that, like, they also need to be badasses, so not like being like total like pipsqueaks, like, oh my gosh, the core spawn are coming for me, like, you know what I mean? But it's a balancing act, but just something to make them feel a little more believable. They feel a little too sanitized right now. And speaking of Omega, absolutely love the guy. I only have a couple of feedback things I can think of for him. First off, during the tutorial, there should be no audio glitches. I don't understand why that's a thing. If it's implied the gray out barrier causes the audio stutters for Omega, then on the Ramrod, or especially the tutorial, he should not stutter at all. Also, as a quick aside, during the tutorial, don't show the gray out barrier, like, opening sequence. Have that be the first mission that people get into, because one, it's extremely easy to figure out what to do. I don't think you need Omega to tell you, hey, go hold X on these things and it'll just work, like, you know, and then stand in the circle. Like, I feel like that's pretty intuitive. People understand, even from his starting dialogue, how to do that. Like, before there was a tutorial, it was very obvious what you were supposed to do. The barrier drones are shown off a lot in the game's marketing, like, you know, and even if you didn't have experience, it's very obvious that you go up to them and you, like, do something, because, like, there's nothing else in the starting rooms other than the drop pod. So, and I guess, like, you could add like a hint flare if, like, if like a player sticks around too long in the starting room and they haven't done the barrier drones yet, you could add like one of those little hint boxes that shows up and basically says, hey, come click me, I'm what you have to do, you know. But my point to saying that is because I think it would be absolutely amazing for a new player to go through all the tutorial and not see the gray out barrier as the first thing they see. I get that it's probably done this way because the gray out barrier is one of the first things that you see, in the mission, but also just like in the tutorial, it's one of the first things you see. So you see this big ominous wall in the tutorial and it's supposed to look cool and whatever, but the effect is kind of lost because of all the visual effects that are going on in the tutorial. Speaking of which, please turn down the visual effects in the tutorial. That is actually kind of, I've had a lot of people say that it's very grating to them. I think it's fine for me, but that also is probably because I play on low graphics settings, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that is, the tutorial, as far as I'm concerned, should not show the gray out barrier, because I think it'd just be so much cooler to actually see it in game, like on your first mission, and like you drop in, you're like, all right guys, let's go, and like, whoa, what is this big wall thing? This wasn't in the tutorial, you know. So like what I'm basically saying is drop players either right after the barrier and just like completely hide the barrier off screen or something, or like literally drop them straight into the equipment locker room, same kind of deal you do with gauntlets. So yeah, what was I talking about before the tutorial? I guess, voice line stuff. For Omega, I'm gonna keep this brief, but for Omega, I would just like to see him honestly show more compassion to the elite, like, reclaimers. Like, some of my favorite lines from him are the lines that play after you lose missions, where he basically says, "We must not give up now, Reclaimers. Victory is almost at hand," or whatever. Where he's basically being like the Reclaimers hype man after losses. I adore those lines. Give me more of them and put them in other places in the game where he's basically being nice in his own way. I really, really like that. It just goes a long way to make the robotic AI guy sound a bit more, I don't want to say believable as a human character, because to be fair, he is a robotic AI, but I still think you can do AI and give them like personality stuff in the places where it makes sense to give them personality stuff. So, let's go ahead and lightning rounds a couple things now, since I don't want this video to drag on for too much longer, and I'm pretty sure we're nearing an hour. So, okay, lightning round of just whatever comes to my mind. I think that enhancement chips need to be better explained to new players, especially the fact that you gain more for losing, assuming that's how it still works. Because something I do see maybe potentially happening in this game is that the new players are going to come in, and then they're basically going to go, well, DRG had this system where, like, if you lost missions, you basically lost, like, everything. You got, like, barely any rewards from it. You didn't make any assignment progress. Kind of stupid, by the way, in DRG. Like, I just played Far Far West. Again, I'm not trying to make this video that, but if you lose in Far Far West, you still gain a lot of rewards and progress on things. So, and thankfully, in Rogue Core, it's very much the same thing. Thankfully, since Rogue Core is a roguelike, you are expected to lose more often than you win, especially since the game is generally, I'd consider, harder than base DRG, which is good. So having, like, I think it needs to be better explained to players how you gain chips, which is from cameras and data terminals, and also just how many levels you make it, I think. But also that I feel like it needs to be explained to new players that don't worry about losing runs. You will still gain good meta progression. You will still gain tons of chips. You will power up and become better as you play. I think that that's something that really needs to be honed in on, and I'm a little worried that players are going to get in a game and they're going to get steamrolled for a couple runs and put it down and not touch it again, Especially because this game is hard. It's a lot harder than base DRG. You really have to rely on your teammates more than in DRG. More on that in a second. But I think that there needs to be more effort towards the understanding that this game is not DRG and that you are expected to lose, especially as you start. And as you get better and as you get more powerful enhancements, you will gradually start winning more and more and more runs. So, yeah. I did just mention the co-op. I want to talk about that again. Just like the last game, and like the gunplay from the last game, they nailed it out of the park, for the most part. However, I do have a concern, and it's kind of growing, especially after I played Far Far West. That the co-op here might be a little too frictionful. And what I mean by that is that it's a lot. You have to rely on your teammates so much more in this game than in Deep Rock, which means that, and I'm just going to be real here, if you get terrible teammates in this game, like if your teammates are just being chuds and they suck, like, it is felt. It's rough. So, like, because in this game, because it's a roguelike and because the enemies are a lot more stronger than the ones in Deep Rock Galactic, like just both in tactics and how they move and like whatnot, it is a lot harder to stay alive than like how you can do in Deep Rock. So if you have a couple of weak links on your team and they're just throwing, it is felt. And I hate saying that because Deep Rock Galactic always has had a pretty very friendly for the most part community. I mean, there's a couple bad apples. Like, you'll obviously always run into some lobbies that suck, but for the most part, especially in all my 1,000 hours of Deep Rock Galactic, almost every single pub lobby that I've played has been a great time. I don't think I've ever truly ran into any pubs in DRG that were just so unbearably bad. And if it ever did get to that level, it was because someone was actively trying to throw and ruin the game. It wasn't even because anyone was playing bad. It wasn't whatever. It was purely because someone was throwing. There wasn't really much friction in DRG. Here, there's more friction. Upgrade choices matter. You're trying to synchronize, trying to get good upgrades for you and your team. You need to keep each other safe more than usual because health doesn't regenerate as much as, like, you don't get a regenerating shield. You have armor instead. Friendly fire matters a whole hell of a lot more. Thankfully, they toned down it a lot lately. Thank you guys. Also, thanks for getting rid of Trigger Discipline 4. That was stupid. Having 100% friendly fire reduction is dumb, but that's besides the point. Obviously, GSG saw that too. I was like, okay, that's dumb. But yeah, there's a lot more room for friction here. And that also means that there's a greater payoff, at least in theory, when your team all works together and is doing great. To me, I don't see the payoff as much, unfortunately, in the closed alpha playtest I did. And I should probably mention, I am like all the way up at depth 4. I think every single depth 4 lobby that I've played has been great. The problem is that I went back to go play some earlier depths, like depth 1 and depth 2. Oh boy, it is, woo. Yeah, I may not enjoy launch day very much until I get all the way up to depth 4, and then I start finding other people who are actually good at the game and understand what the heck the timer is and how to avoid it, you know, or like how to plan around it more specifically. Knowing that, like, hey, we can't do ready checks for everything because we gotta go, you know, we gotta go be fast. Part of this is I think that launch week is going to be rough, sadly. And I'm trying not to be negative about this. And I want to make it very, very, very clear that everyone I've played with in the closed alpha playtest, for the most part, has been very willing and understanding and has been an absolute joy to play with. I don't think I've run into anyone that I can confidently say, wow, I hate you, you know, like, and that sounds absolutely awful. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but or a mean way, but yeah, it's just, you know. But I think when this game comes out, I think launch week is going to be rough with all the new players, as they have to realize, hey, this game is not DRG, and especially for players who are outside of DRG coming into this game, oh man, that one's going to be rough. They're going to have so much extra to learn, because it's not only that you have to learn like Deep Rock Galactic mechanics, but you also have to learn Rogue Core stuff too, like managing the timer and whatnot, getting right upgrades and all that stuff. So, truth being told, there's just a concern I have. I actually think launch week is probably going to be fine for the most part. And as soon as I get up to my actual like skill level and I get all of my enhancements done and whatnot, I think it'll be totally fine. I think I'll be smooth sailing. I don't think I'll have anything to worry about. But it is something I noticed. It is something I'm a little iffy on, but I think it'll be okay. Gosh, is there anything else I really want to talk about here? I know we are well over an hour, so I'm just gonna say frick it. Let's just, any last things I want to talk about? Man, I'll tell you, to be honest, I feel like I got hit most of the big points. Like I said, the co-op, whatever, and obviously, you know, there's been some bugs and some performance stuff that needs to be shaken out, but that's whatever. That will get fixed. Ghost Ship has literally been like on a bug fixing spree, so I'm not even going to mention any of that kind of stuff here. One last thing, the promotional hall sequence is an absolute treat. Like, the music that plays is god tier during that sequence. It's the coolest freaking thing on planet Earth. I am so glad they made it so where you can actually promote and not have to completely disband and like remake your lobby just to go do a cutscene. Thank God. They fixed it. It's thank you, Ghost Ship. And honestly, it's so freaking cool. I can't wait to see people's reactions to promoting in this game because it's actually magical. I love it so much. So, and the fact you get like a pickaxe part as well. Oh, it's so cool. And I know I said promotion hall, ascension hall, and I think the fact that it's like, oh, like you're ascending in the reclaimer ranks or something. I don't really know what ascension means, but maybe that's something that we'll kind of see. I guess one last thing I'll say is that the game's a little lacking in variety at the moment, but I'm also fully aware that the whole point of the closed alpha was to kind of get all these gameplay systems in place and working. So it doesn't really bother me that much. And with that, I think I've said basically everything I can think of off the top of my head. I know this is a bit of a long video. In fact, I know this is a long video. I didn't really expect to go over an hour. I was kind of hoping to shoot under, but I just had so much to say. So sorry to any Ghost Ship devs that had to watch the entire thing. But also, I just want to say one last thing. Thank you guys so much for inviting me to come play the playtest early and like give feedback and stuff. This video is basically the grand culmination of my overarching thoughts on Rogue Core and everything I've really wanted to say about the closed alpha experience leading up into early like access. So yeah, thank you, Ghost Ship. I'm so excited for this game. I didn't really mention this at the start of the video, but this is my most anticipated game of the year. And then Far Far West came out, so then, well, whatever. I'll have to find time for both. But yes, I am so excited to see where this goes next, because I know only from here, there's going to be so much more variety. There's going to be so many more things added. Hopefully, maybe they'll make it so that Gauntlet, like, auto deposits your Expedite. Whoa, I didn't even mention Gauntlets. I'm not going to. I want this video to be over, so... because I've just sat in front of my computer and yapped for an hour. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Sorry it was so long. I didn't think it was going to be this long. In fact, this is way longer than the other 2 takes I did on this video. Or on this video? Yeah, I guess on this video. The other 2 recordings I did. But I feel like this time I actually got to say more of what I was actually thinking and whatnot. Originally, I recorded this video with bullet points, but this take I decided not to do that. I think it was for the better, because I think I had more of my actual raw thoughts come out this time. That sounds weird, but yeah, anyway. Alright. Hey everyone, have a good one. Thanks so much for watching, and next video is going to be something completely different. It's not going to be another thoughts video. It might be like a gameplay through or something. I'm thinking about maybe doing a video on, well, I guess Far Far West, because it's on my mind, you know. I'm really going to try and use this channel for just things I think are cool. So honestly, expect anything. I might play games. I might make more Yap videos. I might even upload music or something. Like, it's whatever the heck I feel like uploading. If I feel like uploading something, then it's going to be on this channel. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one.